Hey everyone, Tristan back with another video, and in this video I wanted to just quickly talk about why the iPad Pro 12.9 inch is really my iPad of choice. And what it really comes down to is the screen. And it has the best iPad screen of any of the iPads available with the XDR screen, which is a mini LED screen. It can get a lot brighter, and it also has deeper blacks than any other iPad screen. So it's definitely an upgrade over other iPad screens. And I'm someone that really tends to consume a lot of media on my iPad. I tend to watch a lot of YouTube and Netflix and HBO Max, Disney Plus, videos and stuff like that. And it just is nicer to have the better quality screen. I'm always amazed at how good the quality is. You can even play some HDR content on the iPad Pro, if the streaming service supports it. And when you do, the screen really shines. I mean, it just is. It just looks. The contrast is just so nice. The other thing is, blacks are blacker on this screen as well. So if you play something that's letterboxed or whatever, you can kind of see here that. I'm just going to pause it here and then turn the brightness up because it's a little bit dim right now. But you can see here, if you're watching something that's letterboxed, the screen just kind of disappears. The letterboxing, the black letterboxing on the top and bottom looks really, really black. Versus other iPads, it tends to look kind of washed out and almost purplish or gray. So this really adds to your enjoyment as well. When you're watching a movie, you can really get more involved in it, and you're not distracted by gray blacks, or you get really deep dark blacks. The other thing that plays into that too is I got the space gray version here. So if I tear this off here, you can see this is the space gray version. And the reason why I did get the space gray version is because it's darker. If you have the silver version, you can actually see a little bit of silver along the edge of the device. And that actually tends to be a little bit bright and distracting when you're watching content. So that's one reason that I recommend the space gray version. But there's even some YouTubers that are shooting and editing in HDR now as well, especially since the latest iPhone can actually shoot HDR, like 4K HDR and stuff like that. And when I watch those videos, the brights are just really bright and the blacks are really, really black. So it just adds to your enjoyment level completely. Now, I had the two prior versions of the iPad Pro in the 11-inch size, and I do have to admit, going from that size to this size, the 12.9 inch, was a bit of an adjustment because it does seem a little bit big at first, but you really do get used to that pretty quickly, and I do like having the extra, larger screen. But yes, it is a little bit harder to take with you, and in terms of the size and weight of this, it's kind of verging on laptop territory actually, in terms of the size and weight of this. Now, I don't actually travel that much with it, but when I do travel, I find that it fits into a larger messenger bag or camera bag fairly easily, and also it fits into a backpack just as easily as the 11-inch iPad, so that's not a big deal. And as you can see, I do have it here with the Apple Magic Keyboard, and that's just really nice to have as well. I kind of recommend it, although it is a bit heavy. The thing about the Magic Keyboard is it's kind of weighted, so it's maybe a little bit heavier than it needs to be, but actually it's not, because the reason why the Magic Keyboard needs to be that heavy is because when you tilt this up like this, it tends to be a little bit top heavy, and you don't want it to tilt, fall all the way back like that. So there needs to be some weight down here on the keyboard, and that's why the Apple Magic Keyboard is weighted like it is. It's not like a laptop where all of the weight is sort of down here on the base. This is on the iPads, on the iPad Pro and the iPads, the main computer is up here on the top. So when you add a keyboard to it, it does need to have the right sort of balance of weight, to prevent it from, like if you're using it on a lap, to prevent it from completely toppling over. I will say though that this larger iPad Pro size, the 12.9 size, when you're using it on a lap with the Magic Keyboard, it does tend to be a little bit more top heavy than the iPad 11 Pro. So that's something to note as well. But all in all, I've just really been exceedingly happy with this iPad Pro 12.9 inch. And really, it's all about the screen. If you want an iPad and you don't consume a lot of media on it, and you're just using it for, just general day-to-day stuff, you may not need this. You may not need the iPad Pro 12.9 with the XDR screen. You could maybe get the smaller one, or even the new iPad Air. I think it's 5th generation, which has the M1 chip, just like the iPad Pro and all that, and it's much cheaper as well. So that's, so those are things to consider. But yeah, the M1 chip also is really speedy and fast. But the other thing is, on the iPad Pros, both the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch, you get a faster screen refresh rate as well. So when you move things around on the screen, it's just a lot zippier. It doesn't seem as juddery or stuttery when you move things all around on the screen, or you have animations and stuff like that, because it has a faster 120 hertz refresh rate versus the iPad Air and the one that they just call the iPad have a lower screen refresh rate. So that can probably play into your decision as well. Do I wish the iPad Pro 12.9 was lighter? Yes, I do. I wish it was lighter. And maybe that will come in future generations, but I have to say, after getting used to this really is my iPad of choice, and I actually do really end up liking this size as well. It's just nicer to have a larger screen when you're watching movies and stuff like that. It's just an overall nicer experience. But to date, because of software, no iPad can actually replace a computer yet. So, that's something to consider as well. This is not really going to be a complete computer replacement. You still need to have a computer. But for everything that I use this for, and for everyday and for the media that I consume with it and stuff like that, it's just really, really nice. So thanks for watching. For pricing and availability on the iPad Pro, please see the description field. And if you have an iPad, let me know what your iPad of choice is. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video.